Good morning, welcome to Catex TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Tuesday, November 18th, 2014. You can follow us on Twitter on Catex TV. And some breaking news, 4 people are dead in Jerusalem in a synagogue after being attacked apparently by Palestinian men wielding axes. 3 of the dead are Americans. Prime Minister Netanyahu has promised a very, very firm response. In Ferguson, Missouri, the National Guard is on alert right now, waiting for the decision to come from the grand jury about a possible indictment of the police officer who is said to be responsible for killing the black teenager that prompted the riots there earlier this year. The National Football League has suspended one of its former most valuable players, Adrian Peterson, based upon child abuse allegations, saying that Peterson has shown no remorse. Lloyd's has introduced a financial incentive for managing agents to use its fast-track claims handling service in an effort to encourage greater use of the system. The volume claim service was launched in February with exchanging amidst great fanfare to speed up payoff times. 2 managing agents have signed up, despite 10 being involved in the system's development. Lloyd's is offering that insurers that put claims into the system between November 10th, 2014, this is retroactive of course, and June 30th, 2015, will receive £100 towards the cost of adjusting each qualifying claim. The maximum payment per claim per managing agent is set at £30,000. There's also an aggregate cap on all payments. This is interesting, actually, is whether or not a check will come or if there will be a reduction in other Lloyd's fees. We don't know how that's going to work. An earthquake shook central Greece earlier today. It was felt as far away as the capital of Athens, but there were no reports of any damage or injuries. The quake was of 5.2. It struck near the city of Chalkida on the island of Evia. Parts of New York are facing a massive winter storm. There's a 105-mile stretch of the New York State Thruway that is completely closed. Elmira, New York has been hit by 3 feet of snow. Buffalo has been hit by about 3 feet of snow. Winds are gusting at about 30 miles per hour, making traffic and movement absolutely impossible. The state police is out in all-terrain vehicles trying to get the motorists who are trapped to provide them with blankets and other emergency supplies. Interesting news in the United States and the United Kingdom, inflation has apparently picked up in October due to higher prices, in the U.S. at least, that American companies received for new model cars, beef, pork, pharmaceuticals, and electric power. Jumped about 0.2% in October. So this means that it's only up by 1.6% in the 12 months that ended in September. So it's still below the 2% federal rate that they're aiming at, their target rate. Inflation is key because it protects against deflation, which means lower job salaries. In the UK, it seems as if inflation jumped 1.3% in the month of October from 1.2%. The Bank of England said that the pickup might only be temporary because England is affected by, quote, disinflationary pressures being imported from the euro area. If inflation does begin to pick up to the target rate, that means that interest rates can begin to come up from their virtually nil levels right now. In the region of Australia known as the Australian Capital Territories around Canberra, last month there was a recent court order for payment of more than 1.6 million Australian dollars to a cyclist injured in a crash with another bicyclist. The cyclist was awarded the compensation after being knocked from his bike by a fellow biker, then run over by a car. The other cyclist said he hit a piece of wood that threw his bike off balance, and thus he hit the victim. The court found that he was liable as he had not kept a proper lookout out for the piece of wood. Local cycling group Pedal Power has said since news of the payout hit the media, there's been a surge in new applicants seeking cover under the insurer it offers to its members. In this case, the $1.6 million award came from the home insurance policy of the cyclist who did not see the piece of wood. Oddly enough, on Facebook in Australia, outrage has developed saying that the claimant was acting in an un-Australian manner, even though he did sustain severe injuries, and they say that he should not have triggered the claim. In Mexico, south of the border here, there's a situation that's emerging that the American government, you can be sure, is watching. Great uncertainty is occurring. There is a huge protest planned for this Friday in Mexico. Protest marches will be held in Mexico City as well as across the United States, including New York City and Los Angeles, mainly over the concern of the disappearance of the 43 missing students who had been volunteer workers teaching poor people just basics. Added on top of this are alleged incidents of corruption with the Mexican president and his wife over the purchase by her of a $7.5 million villa from a Chinese company on very favorable mortgage terms that had been awarded a Mexican bullet train contract. That contract has now been canceled. In New York City in October, there was a near catastrophe. A giant drill bit had scraped the top of an operating and moving New York City subway car. The report has now come out today from the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. And apparently the bit that pierced the ceiling of the New York City subway tunnel was caused, quote, by the stupidity of the contracted workers. The 10-inch drill scraped the outside of an occupied train that was moving. There were no injuries. The drill is being used on the East Side Access project that will finally connect the Long Island Railroad with Grand Central Terminal. The New York City official said that Tudor Perini Corporation hadn't properly flagged the drill locations. The official said, quote, this is hard sometimes to battle stupidity. In this case, I don't know what else to call it. Tudor Perini immediately reorganized the project's management. Translation, people were fired, and the company did not respond to a request for the stupidity comment. What could you say to that? That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.